Nu-Trix, and today we're talking about the FX Collection 2 from Arturia. Now, I'm a great fan of Arturia. I like what they do, hardware, software. I think it's a good kind of balance between old stuff and new stuff. And the FX Collection fits into that kind of approach, meaning it's new plugins, it's new ways of using them, but it's a recreation of older hardware, stuff that you can't find anymore or hard to find or cost too much to actually even think about buying one. And the FX Collection already existed a couple of years ago. I think they started with bundles of three, three filters, three EQs, three compressors and stuff like that. And they're really cool. I remember still today, one of the plugin I go back to is the M12 for the Oberheim Matrix 12 filter, which is fun, odd, and very powerful. I'll take time to show you this one in this demo. So now they released the FX Collection 2, and this now has 22 different plugins. There's new ones, of course, 3 new bus effects. You have the Bus Force, which is really cool because this one also has saturation, so you can even use it to kind of distort it. It's parallel and series. I'll show you. This one is really flexible. You can even look at it as, of course, a bus compressor, but bus treatment, because it's almost like a channel strip. Because you've got EQ, compressor, filter, saturation, all into one plugin. So really powerful, really fun. It's a go-to one. They've got the compressor Diode 609. It's based on a Neve stereo compressor and a limiter. So you've got these two. It's a stereo unit. So you've got compressor and limiter, one after the other. It has its own sound. They say great for drum. I put it on anything you want. If you find it sounds good, keep it. There's the EQ called Sitral 295. It's actually from a Simmons broadcast console from the 70s. Now, all this information is in the information because I get it from Arturia themselves, but you can find behind the scene, what are these devices? Like if I didn't know about the EQ Sitral 295, you can read it inside the plugin itself. There's the tutorial, and part of the tutorial is basically explaining what the unit that they're recreating was about. And it's a good thing because you understand now why these functions and options works this way, because when this was released, that was the type of approach to use. So really interesting, on top of understanding how these different devices and hardware machines had their, I'd say, the background of them, and why the unit works in virtual this way. Now, for each of the unit, they also bring more stuff to the table. So some of them are not just mimicking the original. You've got the advanced window, so also a really cool one. So what else? They have also a new thing. There's 4 modulation effects. There's a chorus, a flanger, a phaser, and another chorus. A chorus from the Juno 6, a flanger, which is, let's listen to them, people. Let's do this. For the drum, what we'll do, I'm going to put the brute force on this. The bus force. Well, actually, it can be brute force also if you turn it on to the maximum. So we have that drum playing. If I add this, of course, there's presets. Of course, you can just navigate through them. The first section, distortion, is something I really like. I like distortion. If you follow my YouTube channel, you know I like it. So really cool, because the last section here is a saturation unit. You have that graphic, which is really cool to just see what's happening. You've got the input and output. And you have in this thing here, you've got an equalizer, so you can play with the curve itself. You've got the filter. You can turn off the equalizer, only use the filter if you want. Okay. This is pretty cool again. Pretty efficient. You have the compressor. You have and the compressor has a couple of, you can have internal, external compressor source to be triggering it. You have saturation. Of course, this one is maximum saturation. You can turn it off, of course. You've got the clipping. But one thing that is really cool is this section over here. When you click on these things, you're changing the order of everything happening here. You say, well, I don't want to have the saturation. You can mute it. You still hear something because they're in parallel. So this one goes to straight out, the dry path here. You see when I move this, I'm changing the volume here. And I've got the second one, which is compressor. The compressor path. Again, if I click equalizer, now it's going to switch here. Now you see that the equalizer and the way this is patched changes. If I want the equalizer also here, I don't want it click. Now it becomes, whoops, it's a different path. I want it here, poof, it appears there. I don't want it here. Now I've got EQ, compressor, and filter, totally separate on different tracks. So this is really powerful. This is really parallel compression, saturation, filter. Well, I want to filter on this one, but I don't want it here. So you can just like really play with that. Everything can be going to the same place. Everything goes to the EQ, the filter, the compressor, and I just want to hear the final result, which is going to be this one. But I also want to hear the compressed version without saturation. Oh, I also want to hear the dry sound, but then I don't want to hear the saturation too much. So really, really powerful for this, and this is useful for many things. So I almost look at it as being a Swiss Army knife of like a channel strip. So that's cool, and they have these really, very destructive sounds, or just EQing, giving some. Was really a cool one. That's a go-to one. So I'm going to close this one for now. Next one is the Diode. Turn it on. So this is more like really cleaning up, some problem in your mix or compressing. So you've got the compressor here, the limiter here. Now, what's cool about this one, you have an advanced window. If you turn it on, you've got more controls here, which is a sidechain equalizer here, where the sidechain, if you want to listen to the sidechain sound and how much you want to use it. Now, I told you about the tutorial. You go here on little 3 lines and you select tutorial, and then you've got that little side panel appears. You've got the main panel, and explain, I'm going to okay. And then he's going to explain how this thing, the past and future, how it was built, why it was, this way, the dual channel, but, all the stuff that, and explain every section one at a time. So it really is an interesting approach. I like that. I like to understand why something was built this way, because if you're mimicking a tape echo, you better understand what a tape echo is to play with the right knob. So that's what you have. And there's a tape echo in there, for example. So this one is, I would say it's a cleaner compressor. So you do this. I'm going to close this thing. How do I stop this? Here we go. Close this. So it just basically, it's a cleaner compressor. Of course, it can saturate, it can distort, but it's just a clean, nice compressor limiter, stereo, efficient one. Let's actually turn it off and try now this one, the EQ Sitral. Now this one also has can be very subtle. Let's see, I've got more attack in the kick. And you have the visualizer, which is a cool aspect in here. And it works, you can use it just to cut stuff up. Or you can have it in MS mode, you can have it in auto gain mode. And again, there's a tutorial to go through it. But again, these are most for mixing, the global, these could be on the master, on the bus, but also to tweak, let's say, I don't know, a guitar sound you want to change. That's a cool way to, and I would say they're musical. They're not so aggressive that they're changing everything, but they've got that nice round sound to them. So that's for let's stop that. So that's for the bus compression and compressor that you have in there. there's this thing I'm going to play. Oh, this one here. So this one is just a pad. Just simple pad playing. Now if I go in this one, I'm going to turn it on. It's a phaser Bi-Tron. Oops. Here, this one. So this is more like a pedal phaser. You've got the envelope you can play with. This is really cool if you want to have some delay when you've got more of a tempo-based instrument. In this case, you just have the pad. You've got also hidden features here at the top. You can change some of the features, the pole of the sweeping sound. You can have in mono parallel. Can have in series and mono, can have in stereo parallel, and can then have them in stereo serial. So they're really cool, really flexible in the way it works. And again, a bunch of really cool plugins, sorry, not the plugins, but a bunch of very cool presets to play with. So cool other example. Turn it off. Let's try the next one. Turn this one off. But this one is the Flanger. Again, a lot of controls here, a lot of options. I want it in stereo. And you have an advanced window here. Click on it, and then that's where I like the advanced features are really, really cool in here. You know, you can always like listen to some of the presets here. That's the fun thing about this thing is you can actually load you can recreate rhythm out of this. This is pretty awesome. Say, well, I don't want to have this one. Okay. I find this really powerful, how much you can tweak it and change. So, okay, I mean, I could listen to this for hours. Look at this little bass playing here. And that's the Juno 6. Again, none of it. Almost monophonic. That's wide. Not too much, but it gives you that presence that is just nice to have. So pretty cool for this one also. And let's go back to the one we just weren't able to test because it sounded too. Can I have this? I'll go Arturia, ESD, audio unit, and I'm gonna go with Dimension D. You hear the difference? Again, some controls here to change the way it reacts. So, really flexible. I like this extra section here that you have in all of them. And they're nice musical sound. I mean, they're just round and cool. Now, I told you that one of my favorite, this filter M12, which is just really cool. I'm going to turn this one off here. So what I did, I turned this off. Let's say it's off. I have this, which is a track. It's a sample. It's a loop. It comes from the Roland Cloud sample pack. So I've got this thing playing. So I want to have some. This is kind of I want a breakdown. I want a different version of it. So I'm going to activate this, and look at how this becomes totally something else. This is just wonderful. I like this. So what you have here is you've got a filter at the top, and you've got, after that, how you want to control it. Envelopes. See how this evolves. So you've got 3 envelopes working at the same time. And you've got a matrix of modulation here, how you want to control it. You want it to be random or not. This is just great. I love this. This one is just for me, you can create a lot of new stuff out of existing tracks with this. And this is just A, you can do A and B and parallel. I just like, okay. There's 22 of them. There's a lot of sound you can actually, here, stop that. There's 22 effects in the whole collection. So there's a lot of things you can do with that. If you're not interested in the whole package of the 22 effects, you can also buy just the bundles, like the 3 EQs or 3 reverb or delays or filter for that matter. So they're also coming in bundles if that's what you like. Another one that I find interesting, I just want to finish on that one, is this one here. This eternity delay. By default, you say, what's a delay? Yeah, but it's so much more than a delay. It's I use it as a destruction unit in this case, so, because you've got this resolution control and downsample. And then I filter it so it's only the high frequencies, because there's a cutoff filter on this one. Instead of having everything being affected, I only have the high frequencies being affected. I like how this can work. This is just like... That's it. On that note, stay safe, make music, watch the other videos on my channel. Bye guys.